Hey there everybody, welcome to our very first YouTube video. My name is Leo, and today we're going to delve into a topic that's very important to many of us here in Ontario. Well, at least to me. The regulations of cannabis. Specifically from a retail perspective. I'm going to break down the ROL and RSA license that you need in order to operate a cannabis retail store. I'm going to go about how to get them, as well as everything else you need to know to get started. Since the legalization of recreational cannabis in 2018, the industry has been a buzzword in Ontario. But what does it really take to be a part of this industry? Let's find out. First up is a retail operator license, otherwise known as the ROL. This is a must-have if you want to open up a cannabis retail store here in Ontario in order to sell recreational cannabis. To start, you need to be at least 19 years old to be eligible to get an ROL license. This rule is also extended to any directors, officers, and shareholders of the corporation. If you have been convicted or charged with certain offenses, especially those under the Cannabis License Act, the Cannabis Control Act, and the Cannabis Act, your chances of getting a retail operator license are very slim. Similarly, any connections with criminal organizations defined in subsection 467.1 of the Criminal Code of Canada can make you ineligible for an ROL. Also, if you have defaulted on filing a tax return or have outstanding amounts owing and past due of tax, penalty, or interest under the Ontario law and haven't made any payment arrangements, it will definitely be a hindrance to your application. Financial responsibility and sufficient control over the cannabis retail business are crucial eligibility criteria. You must demonstrate that you will operate your business in compliance with the law and integrity, honesty, with the public interest. Also note, if your retail operator license was revoked in the past or your application for a new license was refused, you generally must wait 2 years to apply again. Do keep in mind that the AGCO or the Alcohol Gaming Commissions of Ontario may put conditions on your retail operator license to address any specific risks or concerns. Now, let's move on to the next license, the Retail Store Authorization, otherwise known as the RSA. There are some places where you cannot open a cannabis retail store, and we'll get into the specifics of a retail store location later. Similar to the ROL, there are several restrictions for obtaining a retail store authorization. These include not having a valid retail operator license, conviction of certain offenses, having connection with a criminal organization, and not hiring someone who has a cannabis retail manager license. After you apply for the retail store authorization, the registrar informs local residents and municipalities about the application. They then have 15 calendar days to submit their concerns. Just like the ROL, conditions can be put on your retail store authorization to address any specific risks or concerns. Now, last but not least, is the retail manager license. Every cannabis retail store must have a licensed retail manager. This person will supervise, manage, or hire employees, manage the sale of cannabis and compliance issues, buy cannabis for the store, and enter into specific contracts for the store. Like the other licenses, you must be at least 19 years old to be eligible for a cannabis retail manager license. Conviction or charges of certain offenses under the Cannabis License Act, Cannabis Control Act, and Cannabis Act can disqualify you from getting a cannabis retail manager license. Conditions can be put on your cannabis retail manager license to address any specific risks or concerns. And remember, your RML cannot be transferred to another individual. And there you have it. These are the main regulations and requirements for operating a cannabis retail store here in Ontario. Remember, laws and regulations can change, so it's always a good idea to stay up to date by visiting the AGCO's official website.